Hi, this is Andrea from Sony A7rV. Today we are talking about the alleged A7R5 spec list that is circulating around the web. I got this spec list 2 weeks ago and I didn't post it on Sony A7rV because I thought that it's unlikely to be a reliable list from a reliable source. I'm going to explain you why. This spec list is coming from an unknown source, from a first-time source. I got it 2 weeks ago. I decided to wait, but that same source then posted it, shared it to other websites and other forums as well. So suddenly that spec list is circulating, and I figured that it would be important to address that rumor. So it's from a news source. The second reason why I think it's a bit not a rumor is that the spec list is extremely detailed. It's something that I have never seen before. Usually you get leaks of pieces of the camera and not a full detailed manual of specs. To me it looks like they copy and paste the A7R4 spec list and made changes. But I'm not really sure about it. It's just saying what I think for now. The third reason, which I think is a good reason, is that the camera is not going to be announced now, but many months from now. And I think it's highly unlikely that someone has the full detailed A7R5 spec list in the hands now. Sony is very tight-lipped, and of course some general specs might be shared by Sony top managers in Japan just to give an idea what's coming, but not the full detailed spec list. So my thought is that for now it's unlikely that the spec list is correct, but of course what I also noticed is that it's a good guess what might be possible, because many specs, many updates are stuff that we are anyway expecting. A new A7R5, like for example the new 8K 30p recording. I think it's highly likely, no matter if the source is legit or not legit. I think this, for example, is a valid point of the spec list that I think is going to be real. Then now I will go through the spec list, and I want to have your feedback about that, just to know if such a camera would actually disappoint you or if you would like it. There is one big thing, of course, of that spec list that is interesting to discuss, which is the sensor. According to that alleged leak, the Sony A7R5 would keep the same 61 megapixel resolution, which is okay for me in a practical sense, because of course nobody needs more than 61 megapixels. But the question is, this is the high resolution line of cameras from Sony, and we know Canon is going to announce close to 100 megapixel cameras. So it begs the question if Sony isn't going to lose from a marketing point of view if they just keep the same resolution, and that is a camera that will stay in the market for the next 3-4 years. And it would always go as the one camera that has less resolution than the other cameras. I know it's just marketing. I know from practical reason this doesn't make a lot of sense, but I don't see this likely. But anyway, if they would keep that 61 megapixel sensor, the rumor list says that the sensor would be a newly developed sensor, so it wouldn't be the same. It would be a new sensor that has more dynamic range, a better color reproduction, and all that sounds, of course, great. It would have the new Bions XR processor, and it would shoot raw images up to 10 frames per second. Autofocus would be 759 face detection point, 425 contrast detection point. It would have all the same features as the last Sony cameras, like a real-time tracking, animal IIF and whatever, and the same kind of image stabilization, 5.5 stop correction. What else is interesting? Yeah, the electronic viewfinder would have 9.44 million dots, which is also a good guess what's coming. I think it's very likely. I told you already 8K30p, and of course then it would have 4K 60p. I wouldn't be surprised if that is true and that's going to happen. The heat dissipation would be 5 times better than on the previous A7R4, which also would make sense because if you record 8K30p, you need a better heat dissipation mechanism. So anyway, this sounds like a reasonable guess of specs. So like viewfinder, the autofocus, the heat dissipation, and everything sounds like reasonable. Also this sensor it would make sense from a practical point of view to have a new kind of 61 megapixel sensor. But now I want to know in your comment system on YouTube and on Sony A7rV if you would actually feel like underwhelmed by a camera that has those features, if you would definitely miss something, if it sounds like the camera doesn't have a wow factor, but we know from Sony they make incremental steps forward, so it is what it is, if that's true. But anyway, I want to know from you if you would like a camera like that, and I hope that soon trusted sources can tell me exactly if this list is a good guess or if it's going to be something a bit different. And of course, crucial here is the sensor. It might be that the real camera has a sensor that is close to 100 megapixels. But that we have to see. Okay guys, see you soon. Bye.